So I'm sure by now you've heard Wizard of the Coast capitulated and won't change the OGL. They will even go one step further and add the 5e SRD to the Creative Commons. So what do we do now? I said before that I'm not too interested in talking about topics if I don't have anything different to add, and everybody talk about the OGL, covering every detail, everybody rehashing the same news, everybody had their video about our victory, but I might have some opinions that are a bit different than what others have said. So what do we do now? Well, that depends on who you are. If you were a 5e player or GM and you were quite happy with the system and the product Hasbro did put out, maybe you should go back. When you put pressure on a company for them to change their behavior, and they do, and then they even go a little bit beyond, you should throw them a bone. If you don't, and you always double down and stay mad forever, you only train them to become intransigent. So acknowledge what they did, and that they did what you wanted. And as an aside, this is why you should never apologize or recognize any wrongdoing to SJW. They only see that as a sign of weakness and always double down. Any recognition of wrongdoing is for them like blood in the water for shark. So even if they're a public outrage, you make some reflection and you recognize that maybe you've been wrong, never admit it, never apologize. But back to the WotC situation. If you were happy the way things were before the leak OGL change, you might want to be good prints and recognize their change in behavior. And this is not to say that we forgive and forget. WotC still needs to know that they're being watched and that you won't let them abuse you. But if you used to subscribe to D&D Beyond, if you were planning on going to see the D&D movie upon release, maybe you get to bring that back to the table. And you can celebrate the fact that WotC back down and that you will be able to play D&D 5e until you die and have new content produced for it forever. Now, this is if you were happy with the way things were before this crazy month. If you were tired of D&D in 5e, if you didn't like the direction that Wizard of the Coast was taking the game, and this whole thing was the push you needed to move, congratulations. There are plenty of games that are worth trying and are more interesting than D&D 5e. Or even if you just go back to older edition. There are plenty of company that will treat you with more respect than WotC did or does. And there's many people that made video recommending non-D&D role-playing game. I'm not gonna do this here because that's not the topic of this video. Then there are people like me, and I'm sure like many of you, who this OGL thing didn't really affect us because we were not in the D&D 5e ecosystem. We play older game, or we play games so different that they don't need any special license. I didn't have any pressure to exert on WotC because I haven't been a customer of them for years. Yes, I did buy the D&D 5e core books when they came out. No, I didn't find them terrible, nor did I find them like very good. I didn't have any subscription to D&D Beyond to cancel. I had absolutely no interest in the cringy D&D movie they've been working on. I wouldn't have bought anything from 6th edition. I can talk about more the issue here, but this is a new and very small channel, and nobody listens to me, and nobody cares what I have to say. So what would I do now? Well, basically what I've been doing before. And some of you might have seen the news that Hasbro is about to fire 15% of its employee, about 1,000 people. But this is not related to this whole debacle. It might influence who gets fired somewhat. I wish that Hasbro would fire the whole of WotC and build a completely new and fresh team, but I doubt this will happen. The layoff at Hasbro are most likely just linked to the massive economic collapse that we're heading toward to. It's going to make 2008 look like a joke. If you've been paying attention, we have seen many companies doing mass layoff. DoorDash, CNN, Warner Brother, Google had some, and Microsoft, Amazon, and there are many more. They are also doing the same asinine lending for housing shenanigan that led to the 2008 crisis, so prepare yourself accordingly. So why haven't been like a customer of WotC for so long? Well, like I said, the product they put out didn't interest me. But even more so, I don't buy from people who hate me. There are this tweet from Mike Mills, who at the time was lead designer of D&D. Apparently, according to Mills, if we want deep and complex rules and lore, it's to gatekeep people, and he dares to fire us from D&D. What an idiot. Also notice the avatar picture there. This whole gatekeeping thing doesn't even make sense. I can gatekeep people from my table by just not inviting them. They don't have a right to access my table. I invite whoever I want, and if you're going to be an asshat, you won't be invited. But you know those books are sold to anybody. If you want to join the hobby, just get the books and find your own people to play with. Nobody's gonna stop you. And then there was like the D&D Pride shirt. And I just do not support business that engage in such virtue signaling. You know, I'm a Christian, and this rainbow symbol is very offensive to me. The rainbow was God's reminder after the flood of his promise that he would not destroy the world again. And now they made it a symbol for everything that make it so that God should renege on his promise and drown the wicked again. And celebration of pride is also wrong. Pride is the first sin. It is pride that made it so Satan wouldn't serve. And it's with pride that the snake convinced Eve to eat the apple. And anyway, what they call pride has nothing to do with pride. It's just shamelessness. And you can't have pride without shame. And as a society, we completely lost our sense of shame. And not only WotC is catering to the homosexual lobby, but they also have anti-white policies. They will brag about hiring only creator of color to write their shitty product that no real gamer won. They also went and removed the name of contributor in the core book, Zach Smith and RPG Pundit, and they are not guys that I care much for. Zach is a degenerate, and Pundit is a Freemason and a Zio shill. But this erasure just annoys me, acting like those guys that you now find despicable or something never worked on the product is like historical revisionism, and not the kind of revisionism that is based and try to expose the truth. If we look at the parent company, Hasbro, things are not so rosy either. Hasbro is funding Planned Parenthood. For a toy company, this is an absolutely idiotic move. If your main business is producing and selling toys and games, wouldn't you want more? Like have as many baby as possible being born? Why would you then go ahead and found like an abortion company? Then they also go ahead and rename Mr. Potato Head to make the toy more gender neutral and inclusive. And this is a stupid decision and it's just some empty virtue signaling. But at the time, it did piss off some conservative. And conservative are the ones having children. If Hasbro had some smart leadership, it feels like they should be catering to the conservative. Hasbro should be the most wholesome and pro-family and pro-traditional value company out there. But instead, they just keep trying to cater to crazy SJW who don't or can't reproduce. Maybe if Hasbro is so desperate to have them as customer, they should switch to making cat toys or adult toys. Anyway, those are some of the reasons why I wasn't a consumer of WotC before, and why I won't be a customer in the near future. The main reason is probably being that what they offer just doesn't interest me, but I also don't want to support them for ideological reason. I hope this whole speech was interesting or somehow entertaining. Let me know what you think in the insult section below, and thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.